In the deep water, oil production has been on the rise, but gas production has been disappointing. Can you comment on that?
This, from a total production standpoint, the deep water, the oil production has been rising because the deep water oil production in general has been outpacing the decline in shallow water, and so the total amount of production has been growing. In the situation of gas, natural gas, the amount of new deep water gas production is very, very high and growing, but it has not been high enough to offset the very strong decline in gas production in the shallow water. So we've been very, very much struggling. In fact, there's been a little bit of a decline in the natural gas production total in the Gulf of Mexico, despite these gains in the deep water area, simply because the shallow water area is becoming so mature, it's very, very hard to keep very high production rates going.
And what are some of those discoveries that you had on your list that are kind of in those plays that have already been identified?
In the Paleogene-Wilcox play, there have been a number of discoveries that are driving attention and interest, strong geologic interest in this area. On the west side of the play, the Cascade discovery, the St. Malo discovery, the Q discovery this last year by BP, and others. On the east side, the Great White, the Tobago discovery by Chevron, Silvertip, several others that have sort of flanked the east and the west side, and then there's been a couple of attempts to drill wells in the middle in what we call the Keithley Canyon area. So far, no discoveries in that area, but they continue to think that this area is probably linked, and so the true expanse of this could be as big as 350 miles across as a geologic play. Tremendous geologic potential. 46 rigs now under contract to drill in the deepwater Gulf of Mexico, which is close to the record of 47. So we could very easily in the next several weeks even potentially tie or maybe potentially even break that record. We'll see.
And then lastly, can you touch on, you mentioned some operators have approached you regarding the possibility of deploying or applying to deploy a floating production and storage and offloading vessel in the deep water to produce oil and maybe produce the gas through either gas to liquids technology or maybe gas reinjection for later extraction?
Or a pipeline. Yes, there have been several companies that have come and talked to us indicating that they were at least potentially getting very close to filing the necessary formal application with MMS and the Coast Guard, potentially even later in 2006. So I think there's a good likelihood, a good chance anyway, that at least one of these might be actually filed in 2006, later part of the year, for such a proposal.